Take time to make things. Too many things on my mind. Too many things oh why too many things on my mind. Too many things I don't know how to describe it. Heartbeat, I can't keep quiet. Yeah, know you want me, there's no lying. Hope it's true. I'm in the mood. Oh yeah, put it on silence. You should talk to me all night. Oh yeah, try to stay one track minded. Don't you move? I made some time for you. Oh, I can't decide for you. Oh, no. You choose. I made some time for you. I can't decide. Hello there, my friends. I think there's 27 of us now. Happy new moon. All right, so today I'm going to do something a little bit different. The beautiful flowers, by the way. I'm going to record most of this as I walk through my neighborhood because it's a Gemini new moon. And, which I'm going to get into, I have Jupiter in Gemini in the third house. So I'm going to break that down. We're going to talk about all of it. There's crows over there on the roof. They're chiming in. They're very chatty, just like Gemini. Very chatty, very curious. They want to know what's going on. So, welcome back. Happy new moon. The new moon is exact on Sunday, June 14th. I believe it's 10:55 p.m. Pacific time. But I'm going to stroll through the neighborhood because, like I said, Jupiter, Gemini, third house. All right. I thought I would start with a little housekeeping. I wanted to bring something up that I've never talked about or addressed, but as today is June 9th, had that beautiful Jupiter and Venus in Cancer conjunction at about 1 p.m. today, Pacific time. So we're still very much reeling in that beautiful energy, and I hope the day has been good for you. 2 days ago, on the 7th, I did an amazing event. It was the third astrology event I've done, and this one, there was several hundred people there, and there was a man waiting for a reading from me for a while. And then when it was finally his turn, he directly looked me in the eye and said very seriously, "Do you use AI?" And my first thought was, is this guy an Aquarius? And he was. No shade to you Aquarians, because God knows I love you so much, but you guys are direct and a bit skeptical. In any case, you can thank Saturn for that. All right, so I immediately responded, looking him directly in the eye. No, I do not. I have never used AI, nor will I ever. Now, I have learned to never say never, but honestly, you guys, that is a hill I think I'm going to die on. As a writer, as a creative person, and now practicing astrology, it's like a big no way for me. Like, I am so, for me, very opposed to it. I just feel like I've always just wanted to have my own voice, and I don't know, not feeling it. So, and that actually ties in very well to Gemini. Uranus just went into Gemini. Gemini is a Mercury ruled sign, and Mercury is the messenger. Mercury is the communicator. Mercury, rules the intellect, technology, innovation, how we think, how we learn, how we express, how we teach, just information. I'm always going to be I'm an open book. I want to be very authentic, very transparent. And so that's where I stand on that. So new moon in Gemini is, I would say, with the moon in Gemini, new moon is obviously new cycle, new energy, a new start. And working with the moon in Gemini, I think it would be of benefit to Think about things that you might want to talk about or express, conversations that might need to be had. Gemini is an air sign. It's a mutable sign, meaning it's very adaptable. It's good with change. It's flexible. And Gemini is highly curious. Gemini is smart, loves to learn, loves to disseminate information, loves to both learn and probably teach. Gemini is just very connected to the mind, to how we perceive, to how we think, to how we speak, to how we write, express, and communicate. Gemini is, again, very curious. Geminis are known to be pranksters, tricksters. They um, they are they have a really good sense of humor, quick-witted, um, funny. All right, so I'm going to share something that I think is very would be very interesting to share. So I have one very significant planet in Gemini, and this planet is the largest planet in our solar system. And this planet amplifies, expands, increases wherever it is, whatever it touches. That's right, Jupiter. Because Gemini's opposite sign is Sagittarius. And if you recall, 2 weeks ago, when I did the Sagittarius full moon forecast, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So its opposite sign of Gemini is considered in detriment. Again, not super stoked. So I have Jupiter in Gemini. And not only do I have Jupiter in Gemini, I have Jupiter in Gemini in my third house. So let's break it down. Okay, so third house. We know about Jupiter. We've talked about Gemini. Now let's bring third house topics into the conversation, shall we? Third house, self-expression, how we communicate. Do we communicate through writing, speaking, maybe podcasting, maybe singing, maybe litigating? All the ways we can express ourselves through words, through communication. And third house topics are also our local community, our neighborhood, our local neighborhood. Hence why I thought it would be kind of cute and fun to do this as I'm walking through my neighborhood. Now I decided to sit down because there was a lot of cars. It was a little chaotic. So now I'm sitting here on a little brick wall. So our neighborhoods, our neighbors, our siblings. Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit about me and see if this sort of tracks with Jupiter in Gemini in the third house. Let's start with the fact that I am the youngest of 5 siblings. I think 5 siblings, 5 kids is still considered a pretty big family. I grew up in a very, I don't know about traditional, but a very, what would you say, a track home neighborhood. I went to the same school from kindergarten to 8th grade, walking to school every single day, even into high school before I drove, walked through my neighborhood. I'm going to tell you, I have a deep love. It's very nostalgic for me. It's a passion for me. Everywhere I've lived, and I recently counted, I have, since as an adult, since 1986, 87, I have lived in 22 different neighborhoods. That's a lot. And I have joyfully walked, jogged, strolled through every single one of those neighborhoods, and always will. I love walking through neighborhoods, especially when it starts to get dusky or dark and people's lights go on and you can kind of glimpse into their windows, get very curious. What are they having for dinner? What are they talking about? What's going on in their life? Very curious. I am so curious that I have an insatiable need for information. I don't even know why, you guys. I just want to know everything about everything. I started reading young. I have been an avid reader my whole life, especially. I read everything, but I love nonfiction. I love reading about health. Um, I mean, I've had to give away books through the years because I've had a lot of books. And because I've moved a lot, books are hard to move. Everything from all the mystical arts, philosophy, poetry. Um, did I mention I'm a writer? Love to write, have always loved to write. I love to talk. I love to chit chat. I love to play pranks on people. Um, when my kids were little, I started playing hide and go seek with them when they were very young and then with their friends. And I'll leave that for another day, but that was a lot of fun for me. I am a trickster. I love to laugh. I've actually been ridiculed for laughing too much. Um, again, I have an insatiable quest to know things, to have more information, more information. Let's see. Am I talking too much now? New moons are often, of course, associated with a fresh start, a new cycle, setting intentions. So again, Gemini, loving to express, to write, to journal. Um, a great way to work with this beautiful new moon energy is to, of course, maybe write your dreams, your hopes, uh, maybe goals if that's your thing, ambitions. Perhaps you might want to write some poetry. Maybe you're working on your own memoir or a cool, a novel. Writing, having a deep conversation, maybe a healing conversation, maybe a conversation that is informative or that you are able to listen to somebody speak to you about something. Maybe go out to a comedy show or listen to music or gather with some friends. Um, Maybe you want to study something new. Maybe you want to teach somebody something. Maybe you want to go on a little local road trip through your community or in your county, or even uh, a short road trip. Maybe you want to go camping. All very Gemini coded for this new moon. I will also say Gemini, air sign. Mercury ruled. Mercury rules the mind, the brain, how we think, how we express, how we take in information, how we perceive, sharing ideas. Air signs and Gemini, Gemini can even get very restless, perhaps even bored. It likes to be stimulated, especially mentally stimulated. Gemini can also spiral. The air signs can get two in their head, two in their thoughts, two in their mind. The anxiety brain, the spiraling mind. So be aware of that. Pay attention to that. I will also say, have the conversation that you need to have. It's a good time to do that. Do it with awareness, do it with compassion, do it with kindness, and do it with a sense of both speaking and saying what you have to say, expressing from your heart, and also listening and receiving and hearing what the other person has to say. Use the energy wisely. All right. All right, my friends. So that completes our new moon in Gemini forecast. And as per usual, I'm going to leave each sign, each rising sign, with a question to take away for this new moon. All right, so let's start with Aries. Aries, this new moon is happening in your third house. Your question, am I expressing myself with more curiosity? Taurus, this new moon is happening in your second house. Am I bringing value to myself through my curiosities? Gemini, this new moon is happening in your first house. Am I honoring myself through my curiosities? Cancer, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. Am I allowing my subconscious curiosities to see the light of day? Leo, this new moon is happening in your 11th house. Am I sharing my curiosities with my trusted friends? Virgo, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. Am I staying curious about my future endeavors? Libra, this new moon is happening in your 9th house. Am I allowing my curiosity to inform my future wisdom? Scorpio, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. Am I curious to explore where I'm ready to transform? Sagittarius, this new moon is happening in your 7th house. Am I meeting my intimate relationship with curiosity? Capricorn, this new moon is happening in your 6th house. Am I meeting my day-to-day needs with curiosity? Aquarius, this new moon is happening in your 5th house. Am I curious about how to bring more joy, pleasure, and fun into my life? And Pisces, this new moon is happening in your 4th house. Am I curious how my home environment might be improved? All right, my friends, so that is it. And on that note, please come back, stay well, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.